So are you saying that Satanists, witches do particular things to fragment people's souls?
They will come spiritually to eat your family, eat your children, eat everything in the mind. They want this possession.
You know, there were a council of pastors in Northampton who would put my name in the middle of a floor and curse me.
God spoke to me inside of a Luciferian temple. He went there to speak to me the first time.
Wow.
In my life. And I was in the middle of a ceremony. People with a lot of legions, that means they traffic in people. They traffic in human beings to make you a slave.
See, when I see witches, they have mastery over the spirit world. School of prophets is gone.
It's gone. One voice spoke inside of me. I never heard this voice in my life. I didn't know, I didn't recognize this voice. It was like a thunder. And then the devil appears in this moment and said to me,
well, we're joined again. This is part 2.
Yes.
Part 1 was already mind-blowing. We're just going to hit the ground running.
Okay.
I think we left off at a junction where you were discussing that you were to go to a new level in the occult, in Satanism. They had beat you up and they had filled your heart with hatred. They had to do that. And then you did some rituals to essentially sacrifice to the devil.
Yes.
And this was to be your marriage ceremony, essentially.
This is a little bit later, but this is the moment I think we left in the second pact I did. But that specific have something happen which was for me, I know today was God is speaking to me.
Okay.
So this is very important because when I start to do all the rituals in the ceremony, and I was baptized by fire because we are baptized by fire. The fire have to cover all the body. We have
real
to go
fire.
Real fire. We need to go inside of the fire. So and
I'm sorry, I'm still trying to understand. You're in a room and they created a bonfire.
They do like in the place I did was like a part like was like no roof. Yeah. So they prepared the sacerdotes prepared the fire, and you go in naked just with the cover with the cotton something to cover all your body, like you are dead, like you are mummified. So you cover your body, and then the fire have to go over you. So you have to stay in the fire.
Do they put you in water to cool the fire down?
No. This is the power of, you have to be able at this stage to control elements. Okay? You have to be able to have this controlling about elements. The elements have to recognize you.
Okay.
So that's one of the parts of what's going on in the process of you going deep in the spiritual, in the darkness. So then was covered, and then I was prepared to go in because now the next level will appear to me to prepare me for the next.
The guide,
like the spirit, like who would mentor me? That's what was the question. Who would mentor me to the next level? What my arm, my mentorship would be increased. So I was being presented to this new level of whatever would present myself to, would present to me, like they would accept or not, and they have this, if they accept me or not, because they have to accept me. Okay. So before I finished the baptism, and I was putting like in the room, which we're gonna pass to another room to do a ceremony. I was seated there, and suddenly, one voice spoke inside of me. I never heard this voice in my life. I didn't know. I didn't recognize this voice. Was not the familiar voices I have
heard before. Yeah.
This voice shake my bone, shake me, was like a thunder. And the voice said to me, leave everything. Turn. That was the message. Leave everything. Turn and never look back. I knew, strangely, this was God. But I didn't know who was God. So when the moment when the voice talking to me, in my inner self, I recognized was God, but my unbelief about him, I said, I am crazy. This is craziness. This is not. And then I felt like I needed to say something about this voice. And I said, I'm not going to hear this voice. I'm here. I'm going to go to the end. Because when I look, I don't know how to explain that. Was when the voice talks to me, this voice of, now I know was God was talking to me, I reject, because I didn't recognize, was not a familiar spirit for me, was nothing could fit on myself. So I reject. And the moment I decide I would, in my thought, I said I will continue, it's just left, like was just left. Why I'm trying to say that? Because God spoke to me inside of a Lucifer in a temple. He went there to speak to me the first time.
Wow.
In my life. And I was in the middle of a ceremony.
Wow.
The love of God reached you to the level you...
Yeah, David said, even if I make my bed in hell, your love is there with me.
Yes. Yeah. So, and then I went, and then the mentor present everything in my life completely have a huge shift. Suddenly, money didn't stop to pouring on my life.
Is this after Satan appeared?
Sorry?
This is after Satan appeared to you.
This is the day, the second ceremony, when I did the second ceremony.
This is my cat? Is this the one with the cat?
Yeah, this is with the cat. So everything changed.
So it worked.
Everything changed.
You got more money?
Money, like incredible money. All the connections. Connections is the huge thing. It's network. You live without even take money. It's network. Everything is paid for you.
When you see all these musicians talking about selling their soul to Satan, they get money, they get fame, they get all these things. This is like spirits are helping them.
The spirits
essentially to have favor with important people. And,
yes, yes. People just come to you, or you introduce, because I'm going to say to you now, because the next 3 years will be the deep teachings of the occultism. So that was what's the brief I can say is you are, for me, was showing the network of the spiritual world, the logistics of the spiritual world.
Wow.
How the thrones, the principalities and everything. Now I put name, like
this is the second level.
That was my second level.
You're understanding logistics.
So
how the kingdom of hell works.
How you prepare, what you want. You become a soul hunter. That's what they say. Soul hunter.
A soul hunter.
Yes.
What's that?
That's the problem. This is something the church needed to wake. Because you become a soul hunter. Everything you see in the earth, you think, oh my God, this is evil. But it's first, this trade is in the spiritual world.
Yeah.
So
a soul hunter, what does a soul hunter do?
Yeah.
Is that like, in my mind, if I was to imagine what a soul hunter is, you are hunting for the I would think every soul has something important about them, and you're almost using that person like a talisman to get what belongs to
get what
them
they have
for you.
For me, no, for the spirits.
For the spirits. So,
because that is a traffic. It's a spiritual human traffic. And people need to
know why this is so powerful? Because when you read in the Bible, it says, first of all, it says the adulteress hunts the precious soul.
Yes.
So that's one thing. Yes. But then you also read another scripture that says the thief comes to kill. When you read the word kill, it doesn't mean like,
no.
It means to sacrifice.
To sacrifice.
So somebody's life is a substitute.
Yes.
So you're enjoying someone's blessing, essentially. The favor you're getting. Because Satan doesn't create. He's taking from what should be yours, your inheritance that you're ignorant about. And you're essentially using that soul as a talisman to energize.
It's much deeper than this, because people have to understand this is Satan. What Satan? First, people don't understand very much who Satan is, because he don't even have a name, so he have a title. And he put himself as a prosecutor, so he represents someone.
Right.
So people think it's just about him, but if you go deep in the Bible, you understand have powers much evil than him, which God even locked them to the end. So he represents a case. But he inspired this plan. He went to the Elohims and inspired this plan. So what they do, if I'm talking like now, because everyone sees everything from down to up, but I can tell you I see from up to down, because that was the level, I was present. So Satan, you have a reason, I'm not going to say now, he traffics souls. And he needs you, and you see people, I cry deep when I say that, because you see people being trafficked. Literally, spiritual trafficking.
So this isn't just soul trafficking anymore.
No,
this is like real. So when we hear children have gone missing,
everything. You see people with millions of demons trafficking them.
Sorry, you need to explain.
Demons traffic people.
How do you mean?
Like you see the man who have legions. Jesus asked the demons to come and said that who is, because he recognized. This was another level. They're just not just like legions inside of a man. They also have thrones there. That's why they reject Jesus. When you see a lot of places where they have people with a lot of legions, that means they traffic people. They traffic human beings in the spiritual world. Wow. So demons needed to doing certain things. So one passed to another. So you see people enslaved
to demons.
And this is going from generations to generations. And it's not just so this, it's because they're using humans to do the evil in the creation, in the physical environment.
Yes.
So that's very deep, because people don't understand about these things. That's why you have Christians who come to the church, they receive the deliverance, you think, oh, this person could be okay. But you have a lot of things, because it's not just about the habitation, because they needed to profane the temple. We are the temple.
Yes.
So the one of the purpose of the traffic is to profane the temple you are.
Yes.
Okay? So once the temple is profane, God needed to, he's not restore what his program, he needed to do again. It's a new thing. God don't use what the devil already profaned. He needed to restore.
He needs to restore the person. He needs to purify the temple.
To purify the temple.
And you have a lot of.
So what's happened is people come and they cannot feel this fulfillment in the church. Being sometimes even the Holy Spirit is because also what I'm saying to you is called soul fragmentation. That's I learned, because how you make people a slave. You fragment the souls.
Break the soul.
Break the souls in the spiritual world. So you take pieces of the soul. More people in the darkness, more empty they become, because you start to fragment the soul. Okay.
It's interesting. When I did counseling, when I went through some things in ministry, part of the counseling, I met a man. He runs a ministry called Heart Sync Ministries, which means to synchronize the heart or to make it one. Because this man worked with paranoid schizophrenics in the insane asylum. Then God told him the majority of the church are paranoid schizophrenics. But they are like, alcoholics, functional alcoholics. They are functional schizophrenics. They have so many fragments to the soul.
Everything.
And he said his job is to pull the soul back together again.
That's
I mean, he did a work on me while he was praying for me. Suddenly I became like a 5-year-old boy. He just said one word to me.
Because the fragment went out there.
Correct.
So that's when the devil touched something in your soul. So that's so true, because that's what you learn as a son.
He looked at me and he said, Tobi, you really are a remarkable gentleman. He was genuinely complimenting me. But suddenly I reacted to the compliment. I don't know I don't know why. I just reacted. And he noticed I reacted. And he stared at me. And you can see someone at the corner of your eye. He's staring straight at me. And he says these words, "Who am I talking to right now?" And inside me, this is the weird thing. This is my entire soul inside me. My soul shrunk. And I was sat at the top of my head here. And a 5-year-old voice came through me. I've never forgotten the day. It wasn't a demon. No. It was my soul.
Oh, your soul was fragmented.
But I kept saying, I'm a bad boy. I'm a bad boy. I'm not good. I'm not good. He had to go back to something that happened to me at 5 that I forgot. Completely
forgot. Everything up.
And everything came back. Whoosh. I could not believe it. I break down crying. Then he says, young Tobi, can I speak to older Tobi now? I came back.
The spirit of man, like the spirit
soul is so broken. It's what God said about Reuben. He said, Reuben, you're the seed of my strength, but you went into your father's concubines. Now you're unstable as water. He said, because of you will not prosper, because your soul is now so fragmented, you can't prosper. So are you saying that Satanists, witches do particular things to fragment people's souls? Is that like, is it like a form of mind control? Is it to make them get into bad relationships, make bad decisions, etc., and then their soul breaks down, or what is that?
This is much deeper than just this. People take information and think, okay, I understood that. No, it's much deeper, because you really have to have experience in the spiritual revelation of God to understand how to walk with this level. Because what's happening is, imagine in the spiritual world is a trafficking. It's a traffic. Billions and billions of people are trafficking now. What we see in the world, physical, is just a tiny reflection of what's
happening in that world.
In the spiritual world, okay? Everyone who born in sin. So it's already a disconsecrated temple. So it's already, and you're gonna, we learn certain things, like we learn about in different language, which I'm gonna translate now for Christians to understand. You're born in the bloodline who are in sin, and you're born the bloodline who pass already in the transgressions, and you're learning for the iniquity. So the iniquity is the one.
3 levels here.
3 levels.
Transgression, trespass, iniquity.
Sin, transgression, and iniquity.
Wow. That's so interesting. Yeah, because I remember the Lord teaching me 3 things. He said transgression, trespass, and iniquity. So transgression is like sin. Trespass is you go beyond what you're meant to.
I understand. Maybe we talk about this and understand what you say, but what was told me was like, sin, everyone is born in. Sin, you can do it without your conscious. Okay? Or you can culture, your parents make you do culture, you're born that way, and you do without realize you are doing. Transgressions is when you have a light of this is wrong.
But
you do it because you concupiscence there, you want to do, or you cannot handle this, or you're too weak in your flesh. But iniquity is something more serious because it's perversion.
Yes.
So you become very perverse. But some people are born already in this stage.
Yes.
In the perfection, because the bloodline,
the parents and what they did. Yes.
Normally they don't irritate anything. They born in poverty and misery. They don't have enough. Everything is broken in their life. They have addictions. They have everything comes already in their lives. They don't have where to put their feet and stay strong, or don't have a mentor, don't have anything. So they already collect, even if they don't know, they collect iniquity. And you have a lot of people who arrive in the church already in the iniquity. And people deal with that as a sin. And these people are never going to be free.
Right.
Because they are, it's not about, it's nothing to do with the power of Jesus. It's to do with the state of
the soul,
the consciousness of this person. They don't understand how deep is the power of iniquity on them. They need to be conscious of the levels, sin, transgression, and iniquity, the perversion in them. Because you need something to be liberated. You need repentance.
Yes.
You need conscious of the price God paid. Jesus paid for it. And one of the things people don't understand is like, you say that. What's the proof? I tell you the proof. Jesus paid the price for everyone.
Yeah.
So why he would have paid the price if he was not something to pay for? Because you was in the traffic, so he paid for you ransom to take you out of this spiritual traffic. So you have how to be free because he paid the price for you.
So in the occult world, I'm trying to.
We know that
in that world, you see all these people.
You see all these people. You know exactly who to target,
and you know who to target,
and you know exactly who you can move, and for what, and who you're gonna give the person. It's a hunt with a purpose.
So is it like a job to destroy people's lives? Is it?
You don't understand.
Or you just doing it because it will give you more power? What's in it for you?
Once you see what I saw, you know if you don't do, the next will be you. Wow. That's the mind of the world. Because people don't understand the mind of the system we are living.
Yes.
The system we are living and we think is normal. It's not normal.
It's not.
It's completely satanic. And you do it, or someone will make you do it. Or you become the boss, or someone will make you a slave.
See, when I see witches are sort of masters of, or witches or Satanists, whatever, they have mastery over the spirit world. They have their own sort of, I don't want to call it theology, but books and things that you read and learn and practice. You have your own literature, but they practice. When I say Christians, it's religious. The only people I know who really are masters of spiritual arts are prophets. They know how to enter, see, and the school of prophets is gone.
It's gone
from the church, and with it the mastery over mysticism or the realms of the spirit.
Yes.
So we've sort of lost that art in the body of Christ. So you see the body of Christ, you see people acting certain ways. Like I noticed someone was acting a certain way in my life. I had finished praying. I lay in my sofa and I'm just resting in waiting on God. So as I'm waiting on God, I have this experience where I in my body, out my body, I don't know, but I saw a being. This was like 3 days ago. No, yesterday. I see a being. He had a head. Have you seen I don't know if you've seen the Marvel movie with this creature called Gru. He looks like a tree. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but this guy looked like a tree, but his head was like a bowl. Very evil looking. very, very evil looking, hoofs for feet, just stood there. And I could tell his job was to control this person. Now, this person is standing there. I'm talking to them in the realm of the spirit. I'm talking to them. Every time I speak, the entity would change what I said so that we wouldn't understand each other. No matter what I said, the entity would say, this is what he's saying, this is what he's saying, this is what he's saying. And the person would receive it with everything in them. It's true. And in real life, it's happening.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm speaking English. Why can't you hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
And once I saw that this was a demonic entity, but see, a lot of believers just think, let's go to therapy. Let's get psychology for us. Let's do this. These things won't help because the root problem is there are entities at work, spirits at work that are playing on people's iniquities and trespasses and things that you mentioned as open doors. But my part is trying to understand, as a Satanist, you had participation.
Because your mind is conditioned to this world, okay? So you don't have a set of, like, when I look back, I never thought about eternity. This is hiding. Certain things is hiding from your mind. You don't understand. I didn't understand what the word sin means. So he hides. He makes darkness in your mind. So you see all these things, but you don't see the evil. You see as a sagace, as a way of powers. You see powers. You see the mechanism of the logistics of everything. You see people. But one of the things you never say this is wrong, or you don't have inside of you say this is wrong, is because people end up in this circumstance, as me, as a person, as a seer, I always was. You know, this was inside of them. They desire this.
Yes.
So no one was that innocent.
Yes. No one should say when they're tempted, God is tempting me. Everyone, the Bible says, is tempted by their own.
They wanted to be both. Because the mechanism is they don't want the suffering, they don't want the pain, they don't want to.
So their pain is looking for pleasure. They're looking for some painkiller.
So they offer themselves.
Wow.
How you do that? You have, like, of course, I was in the level where the spirits was showing everything. I remember one boy, he had like 20 years old in the time, and I was in this gathering, and this boy looked at me. He's sitting near me, and he looked at me. And he was like, the way they took him was in the Masonic. So he was introduced. That's where all the Luciferians and Masonics, everyone come together. So it was in another country. And then in Europe, and then this boy comes, and I could see the fear in his eyes. He have a serious fear. And I didn't have this feeling. I didn't have any fear about nothing. But he looked at me and said, and he was so nervous, and he started to drink in this reception, and then he comes to me, and then he said to me, I have a serious fear. I think I'm gonna be, I don't know what this is gonna end up. I'm not gonna be able to handle this. And he started to talk. I was in silence. And he started to talk, and it was the first time I realized something different about humans. Let's say, he's saying, what's happening is this Masonic put a lot of money on him, like they pay for the university, they groom him, and he become this architect. I remember to today, and they put a firm in the time. This is 30 years ago. In the time, it was like 4 million. The firm in his name, because they do this. You have to use people in the business, in everywhere. You call it angels, like people, you make your business, people become millionaire from nothing, and they tell you this story. Nothing like this. Is a lot of
spirits are helping them.
Yeah. So he had fear because he knew he would never come out. He would never come out. He realized he sold his soul. He sold his soul. and I couldn't see his eyes. And I believe today he had to have a background of knowledge of God, anything like this, because I saw something different on him which I could not describe. Today I describe maybe he have the knowledge of God, and he knew he did something really serious, really wrong with his life, selling his souls. But he was a millionaire there, thinking the only way out for him was to kill himself, because he would be killed if he tried to get out of this business. Was a lot of money invested on him. So that's what also happened also in the music market. That's also what's happened. People become slaves. You say, why these people don't say anything? Why these people don't come out? Because you're such a inside of a dome, then you cannot, you don't have how to way out.
I think Justin Bieber tried to say to the whole world, it's satanic, it's Luciferian. He said that they had him go to parties where they'll sleep with children.
Yes.
As part of the ritual and the blackmail and things like that.
Not just children's blood. People, not every person receives blood. Okay? And majority of the people who receive bags of blood, I'm just give an example, they don't receive conscious. They receive it because they come out of surgery, they don't know, and the surgery or something like this. But when you are conscious and you receive blood, just the blood, you see how your body change.
Blood transfusion.
Blood transfusion. You see how your body change. Oh, you feel the difference. I know because I receive. So you feel
the life of the creature in the blood.
The life of the creature in you.
You're taking someone else's life into you. It's not
you feel body complete revigoration. You feel nutrients. You feel everything, and that's some. People think this is a conspiracy theory, and no, this is very real. I lived it for many years. So we went there 3 years, learning all the logistics, learning how you realize you have this ambition inside of you. They do what is inside of you. So more you wish, more you have.
Wow.
Okay, no one is victim in this circumstance. No human being can say, "Oh, I was mislead you," or anything like this. This is not true. It's your desire to live something, a fantasy, not something true.
So demons, devils, all those, they're just tapping into what you already want and enslaving you by your desire.
By your desire.
Now, you ascend in the occult world. You've come to the third level. You go to that.
Now I'm going to go to, after learn all this logistics and how to hunt and enslave them. Because you have literally slaves.
So they taught you how to hunt for souls.
Hunt for souls, fragment the souls, aprision the spirit. I went to a place, I went to the place in the spiritual world where all the people are in prisons, and I didn't saw dead people in this place. I saw people alive, and the
people who are alive on earth
right
but
now.
In the spirit world,
the spirit was in prison.
They're in prison.
They're in spirit. So when you get all this knowledge, then it's time for you to go to the next level. And the next level, listen, the list, like the preparation was abominable, like horrible. Okay, but for me it was normal. Okay, where the level of my mind was normal. But as the spirit, the mentor was talking to me, he was preparing me to this event, which would have turned before I turned 18. So that was turned. He started to talk when I have 16, so 17 would be my turn to 18. When everything was normal for me, like was part of the life which I believe was mean, and I saw myself as a god. We talk, like who assess these beings. You have knowledge, you trading. You learn a lot of everything is to do with trading. You have to know how to trade in the spiritual world. If you don't trade, you don't get it.
Wow.
Or you will be trade.
Wow.
So like if you don't trade, you will trade.
Yeah.
They will trade you. So you become you have this mindset. So of course you're gonna end up very evil because people for you is asset. People for you is not people. People for me was asset.
You're trading people's
was
lives.
A trading networks and everything. You look, you know exactly what you want from the person and how you're gonna live. So that's what it is. That's when you talk in the financial world. You find a lot of people like this. And it's not.
So if somebody was to, would people come to you to consult them if they needed maybe money or power? Would they go to you?
Sorry, when I was
to say so, when you say something, if somebody wanted power or money, would they come to you?
You have levels of which, okay? The lower level serve others.
Okay.
I would never serve others. I sell my kingdom in the time. I was a god in my mind, so I would not serve anyone. The people was my assets, was my way of growing. We're going for something very big, okay? I was being prepared to sit with powers. And then when one of the visitations, he told me I was being prepared because now I'm going to sit with kings. That was...
In the spirit?
No, in the real world.
In the real world.
In the real world.
You were going to receive the power that will give you access to worldly rulers.
To king. I know Israel world rulers. I know people was ruling nations. Because the level of knowledge that was giving is the traffic of nations. You learn a lot of things. You learn about the gates in the city. You learn about how the spiritual world have gates, specific gates. That's why you go into a certain place and have all the drugs there, all the things. That's gates. You always operate near these places. So you learn a lot of things. So I knew the shift would come. And the another thing also I want to say is in these 3 years, I was preparing to be with the rulers, because you cannot go up to the rulers if you don't have experience with nations. So I travel a lot because I needed to experiment different principalities of different nations.
Right.
Okay. And you needed to absorb this power of different principalities. And as you move in nations, they would embrace me. Let's say that I was receiving them. Different more, because you become from a single culture, you have to become a multiform culture. You have to know how to speak with all the levels of people, and have to know all the levels of how they think, how they project the mind, how they see life. So, and then they told me I would travel to Arabic country. And in this journey, this was the last one. And then I was like to reach this stage with my third one. And that's when I was present as supposed to be the bride of Satan. Okay, I was preparing to be the bride.
Third level now.
So to be the bride of Satan is involve a lot of sacrifice, human sacrifice, blood sacrifice.
More trading.
Okay, everything was part of my world, the world I knew from 3 years old. Okay. But something happened, because when it was in the final stages to do the deal, what I forgot to say also is my second trade, when I was present this mentor in the second trade, the trade was I received to receive all this power, to receive all this knowledge, to have all this spiritual open eyes to see everything, to identify people, the spirits walk in them. You see the spirits, which spirits walk in their life. They was speaking to me, the spirit, so I knew everything about the life of the person. So I know exactly what I want from the person. They would offer. Traders like this, they offer you. It's a prostitution. So, but there was given to me the power of life and death. So this was the major thing for me. As a God, as I think I was a God, I want the power of life and death. But I only work with the power of death. Never even think about power of life. So what's happened the third level, when I'm going to the third level, in the conversation, the final conversations, the mentor appeared and said, but you needed to do something, which was the ceremony would be in the cemetery, because it have to be a consecrated soil, okay, and it have to be where it have dead bodies and everything like this, and bones and everything.
This is interesting, because today we're hearing stories now today of preachers who go to cemeteries. This is like, and saying it's God and all this stuff. I mean, just some things that have come out online recently. So a lot of this is just witchcraft. Also, another interesting observation I'm hearing from you is you had 3 levels.
3 levels.
David had 3 anointings. Jesus had 3 anointings. The God also works in 3 levels of power, and it's like the devil also is mimicking that. So you're about to come to that 3rd level.
The 3rd level, the highest level, which I will be consecrating now. I knew this was a serious level. No return. No return. I met someone who was in this level. I'm telling you, I don't think she was alive. I don't want to say, but I don't think she was alive anymore. And talking, doing everything, but she didn't have 1 drop of blood in her body, and I never couldn't explain that. She would have cut herself and nothing of blood would come out, because the lesions have a pact in her blood, so no blood would come. She would delacerate her to do like witchcraft, and no one. She had to request for the evil spirits who was inside of her to allow her 1 drop of blood. And she asked them, and if they accepted, the blood would come out. So I saw things I don't even say, because I've seen
videos of things like this where people cut, especially in India, where they will pierce themselves right through the cheek or through the arm and pull it out. There's no blood, there's no cut, nothing. These people have given themselves to demons.
Completely.
Wow.
It's another level.
So what happens at this 3rd level?
And then he said something to me. One of the last encounters with me, he said to me, but you needed to do something. And I said, it's very important you do this. So I went to all the rituals, everything I should do, all the requests they was asking, the preparation of the mind, the disfragmentation, everything you can imagine. But he said to me, you needed to renounce. And then he gave me like the perception, he was speaking to me in the spiritual world, like I hear, what I'm saying as I see, as a prophet. So he said to me, you needed to renounce this guy. And then I was in the spiritual, said, he took me there, and he was pointing to Jesus. And he said, you needed to renounce before I appear to you.
He showed you Jesus?
Yeah, he said.
Did you know it was Jesus?
I'm going to say what I thought in the time. He was seeing me, the person of Jesus, and he said, you needed to renounce, and I have to speak everything backwards, forwards, and I have to renounce everything, and renounce the salvation he can give, renounce everything. Something is struck there. I never, ever question anything was telling me all the years in my life. I never say, why is this? Or, but for me, I'm going to say something that will shock people, yeah? Who was Jesus for me? Was nobody. Do you understand? Was a crazy person. Tried to do something and someone killed him. And I asked, and suddenly one thought came to my mind, and I said, what I have to do with this person? This come, the thought. And he heard, and he knew, and he said, I ask you, do you gonna renounce him? And I myself think I am a God. I said to him, look, first you tell me why I need to renounce him. Because what this guy who don't have power, who don't have nothing, have to do with me. He's nobody. What are you doing? You're going to go to the next level. Who is this person? What secret do you have? I'm trading here. I have power over life and death. That was my talk with the devil. I said, what this guy have to do with me? Nothing. If you tell me why you want me to renounce him, then we have a trade. And then I remember like today, he just looked at me. He was incarnate, and he looked at me. He said, okay. And he just disappeared. I continued. I don't think it's nothing.
So this encounters is happening physically or in your mind?
The last encounters was not just physical. I'm being transformed, like you have when God visits you. They take you spirit. They take you. Sometimes you even in flesh you can hear God and everything. Sometimes depend of the density of what He requesting you.
Right.
How are you going? This meetings was already really real. He was manifesting Himself as a physical in front of me, because now we're gonna go really serious.
Yes.
Like you know.
Was that Satan or an entity?
I believe he was a fallen angel.
Fallen angel.
Yeah, I cannot say 100% who he is, if it's Satan or not. But I believe he was a fallen angel, because you have three levels of spirits which people don't understand. You have the spirits who will not create by God, who will never return to God. And that's what majority you see the possessions in the church. Is the
demons, result of giants and
because they
people.
Because they don't have where to return, so they stay in the earth and they're gonna possess. You have this level, and then you have the next level, and then you have the Elohims also. The possession of the angel, the fallen angels never want to possess your body, because they think you are very low for them. But they have the children, they have like it's very difficult for me to try to explain that. They have this Nephilims, they want thousands, they want billions inside of you, because they are feeding them. You become the bread for them in the spiritual world. And people say, what you say? Now, literally, men who don't have Christ, they are bread for demons.
Food.
Like the same thing God said when the spies after alone, when I come to light, I saw that. I said, that's what happened. That's what I saw, because in the light you have like when the 10 spies were sent to the land, only two come back and said that the land is good. The other 8 said, no, it's not good. We're not gonna go there. Don't do it.
Giants are there. They devour
the giant there, and I have a passage who say, because God never do something without blood and bread. You have to have the sacrifice, have to have blood
and bread.
So God provides the grapes, because they said when they went to the land, they carried so big, so the blood was there, the grapes was there, but the bread, the verses said the giants was the bread. So if you look, you're going to understand what you see as a problem was the giants. Actually, they was the bread God was giving for you sacrifice. So you needed to they needed to be sacrificed because that was the bread God was requesting. So that's what happened to us in the spiritual world. We needed to know how to tap in this level and understand what is in front of us, and what if you don't act in Jesus' name about this demonic darkness, they will come spiritually to eat your family, eat your children, eat everything in the mind. They want this possession. They want this bloodline. They will never stop. So, and then I said, okay, no. And then I said, I don't even bother. It was not like a big deal because we have a relationship many years. Like in my human side, I trust them completely. Never have any kind of deception or think anything, or they're gonna betray me or anything like this, because I was doing everything they asked me to do. But that day he went silent. I think that was normal. Then I went to the next stage to do the sacrifice. He didn't appear. So another witch comes. She was an old witch. And then she said to me, look, I have a message for you. And I said, okay. And she gave the message. And she said to me, by January, that was November. She said, by January, you're going to have your transition. You're gonna come to the next level. He's going to do everything for you. And you're going to be very rich. He's going to raise you very young. I said, okay.
How old were you at the time?
In the time, I was 17. So was coming a contract from in the television. Okay? So that's what I was asking, this contract in the television, to work in the television. I did some programs in the television before when I was younger.
So the devil was giving you a contract in TV?
In the TV. But I was thinking this was she said to me, he have a gift for you. So I said, this is the gift.
Right.
Okay. So pass, and then suddenly he said to me, I'm going to bring someone to your life. And I want this person. I want the influence of this person. So this person comes. This is very difficult for me to express now, to say these things. This person comes in my network, and very serious problem. And I have the power to fix this problem. Okay. His father was a very famous person in Italy, in the television. So, but I fixed the problem. Because that's the kind of network you start to fix, and they start to give you interest and all these trades and everything. But actually, he wants the son. The spirits wants this boy.
When you say want the boy, dead, sacrificed?
I don't know what.
His life
in the moment they gave to me, I knew I have to exercise my power, but what they would do to him was not told me yet. What if he would die, if he would be promoted, if he would be chosen, was not told me. It told me about the influence. Okay, so you make people dependent of you in all the areas. Okay, so he comes and they give the influence and everything, and everyone was happy because everything was working for this family. Okay, everything, the very important family. And they travel from one country to where I was. In the time I was in Brazil, they traveled there. So this was happening in Brazil. And the father had to go back, very happy, because he saw the problems be sorted out, everything being done. Of course, we was a lot of spiritual manipulation behind. I was in there one day. I took him and then we went to a restaurant, and that's very crucial for me to say how the devil can turn things in a second. We went to the restaurant. When I arrive in the restaurant, we sit, and then when we sit, seconds I was sitting in the restaurant, we was looking the menu, and I noticed one man with one woman come inside of the restaurant. And my eyes went straight away. I felt something in the spiritual world. My eyes went straight away to this couple. And he looked at me. And the guy looked at me and he said something to me. I knew something was really wrong, because he used some words we only use between Luciferians. But this was something else I was dealing with the spirit. This guy was with really serious something. He was in a mission there. And he just stand up, he looked at me, and he just went straight away to my direction. And I knew he wants to cause chaos.
Wants to
cause
chaos.
Chaos.
Oh, to cause chaos. Yeah.
Chaos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he stood by my side, and it was really quick. And when he stood by my side, and I could feel the spirit
On
like
him.
And then was something I never saw this kind of spirit approach me. And I heard the voice, the same voice that asked me to regret.
To reject Jesus?
The Holy Spirit was talking to me again.
Oh.
And he said to me, he have a gun. He comes to kill you and kill him. And in the same time, then Jesus talked to me, my eyes opened, and I saw in the spiritual world, I saw the gun inside of his trousers. And people don't understand, because when you see in the open eyes, when you have this gift, you don't know if it's real or not real.
Yes.
So I have this. I don't know what is real, what is not real. Yes. So for me, it was real, and it was real.
Yes.
Because I screamed. And I screamed and I said, he have a gun. But because it was such an impact in this voice, it was like so true, so different of everything I have experienced in my life. All the voices of all the spirits of the angels, everything. This voice was something else.
Right.
And I knew, and I saw the gun in him. And I screamed. When I scream, like 100 people jump everywhere, like screaming, everyone, no one's gonna stay, because I scream, was involuntary. I said, he have a gun. When I said that, he just looked, and he grabbed me here, and the person who was with me, this boy, looked and said, did you know him? Like very quick, like this was a question of seconds. And I said, I don't know who he is. And then they grabbed, and the guy just stopped there with the woman, like they have a mission. And it was a second, he just gave one step back, pulled the gun, and shoot me and him, like the distance of me, less than me and you. I just saw the bullets pass on my face, and I saw the hitting of the bullets, and it was like my ear was just like stone. For me, I was shot in the face, and then I really believe that. And then the boy tried to be in this side, and suddenly was so, like, I have so many bullets, was so quick. Then I saw him falling on top of me. And when he fell on top of me, I just have this reflex of holding him. And his neck went down. And all this was completely destroyed by the bullets. And his blood was coming out. And it was like a river on top of me from the head on the bottle. And then the devil appears in this moment and said to me, I told you.
He wanted the boy.
I said, I told you, never define me again, because you're going to know who I am.
Wow.
You question me, I show you who I am. Now you're going to be my slave. I'm going to traffic you. From now on, you're never going to question me again when I ask you something. And then he was dying in my arms. The devil was talking to me. He was dying in my arms. And he was asking me not to die. And then I still believe what he said to me, the devil, in my pact. And I start to pray. I start to invoke all the kinds of knowledge I have about life, because I never used the power of life in my life. So I start to use the power of life, and the guy was dying. And I tried to retain his soul in his body. I tried to retain his spirit, all the knowledge I have. And while I was doing, he was dying. And all my life passed in my mind in that moment. And Tobi, you understand? You have a God who lies to you. People don't understand what was this. People become destroyed because people lie to them.
Yes.
Imagine you understand, in the spiritual world, you have a God who lies to you.
Wow.
His promise, his deal, his trade with you. And it's just a film passing your mind, and you see all the things you've done. Even if you don't understand this was so evil, but the reflection of all that, what I did, all the destruction, everything, and you realize this is not what say, because it's very difficult to try to explain to people this, then the power of Satan. Because when you are, I'm going to say that you're going to identify with that. When you are a prophet or when you are gifted and you go to another side of the spiritual world, there's no way, nothing can hide. You understand everything. Even if you are, there's no lies in front of you. Do you understand what I'm saying? You see everything. You don't have excuse when you are in the exposed to the spiritual world. It's not like here you don't know or something is hidden. In the spiritual world, you see everything. So to come from this realm and they understand, in this realm you was deceived and it was lie, is like no existence for you. You don't, suicide is nothing. You just realize your existence or everything you are become nothing. And no man can help you. Nothing can help you. And you realize on top of this, who you are God. Because this God deceives you, so you're not so what you think you are.
Wow.
So the destruction in that moment there was unbelievable, deeply hurt. Like I was completely destroyed by the devil in 1 second. And he said to me, and he died in my arms, asking me to leave. Now I have this person dead in my arms. I'm covered with his blood, completely destroyed, every identity I have is collapse. Where, who I am, where I go, or what's happened, why I love him. And then the feeling of I love him. I love it, Satan.
Wow.
And understand he betrayed and he deceive and he lies. And I said, who are you? And then he said, you don't have option. I'm gonna trade you now. And I don't even want to go there to tell you how horrible it was. The first thing he wants to do is, they took him, the police arrived and everything. They took me to the police station. Now is a killer. They want me to say this person, the photo, everything. I have all the documents with me from this process. And I knew my fight was with this being. And then suddenly, in the same night, they come to me and said, okay, let's tell you something. You go to the hospital because he was intubated. They needed to release the body because his brain died. And I have to call his dad to say his son is dead. At 17, that's really heavy stuff. I could not say. I said, you need to be here. So the father comes. While the father comes, when the father arrived, the police took me back to the police station. And they start to interrogate how this happened. The person was talking to you. Of course, all the people there start to talk what's happened. The police was investigate. And suddenly when I'm in the table, they say to me, you're nothing to do with this killer. Like, you was the person who brings this boy to death. And I said, no, I don't have nothing to do with this. I don't know nothing. I said, yes, you know. I said, I don't know. He said, yes. Everyone heard when you said the guy have a gun. But the guy didn't put the gun out. So how you know he have a gun?
Right.
And then I stuck. What am I going to say? A voice talking to me, he have a gun. Who would believe in me? So that was really serious because I'm in the middle there with the police trying to put the accusation on me of killing someone or being accomplice with something. I don't have nothing to do with this. All the power I have, all the connections, no one appears. No one was there. The devil was laughing. I just heard all the time he laughing. And then in the middle of this room, I thought about the voice who spoke to me. Because I blocked now. I was in silence. I could not speak anymore because in my mind, they was talking about physical things and my mind was going on to all the spiritual things was going on. And then I stopped there and I said, how am I going to do this? And I remember the voice. And I said, who are you? And I said, who are you? And I said, something came in me and said, he didn't have the power of life. Who have the power of life?
Right.
Was coming these thoughts in my head. I said, who have the power of life? I said, because I knew I was surrounded by that in that moment. And then I was like, try to talk with this voice. I said, who are you? In my mind, inside of me, I was talking, who are you? And I said, and I come to recognize the voice spoke to me in the first one. The voice spoke to me again now. And I said, who are you? Who are you who speak to me? And then suddenly a man comes open the door and comes inside of the room. The chief of the police ready to put a warranty in me like prison. Okay? Yes. He's ready to put the thing to take because what I'm gonna say. I don't have defense for what's happening. I really spoke. This guy have a gun before he showed the gun. So they link me with him with this, but I never saw this guy in my life. I don't know nothing about this. I didn't have nothing to do with this. This person comes in the room and said, I am such a person from the consulate in the time, and said, we come from the Interpol, and this case is not anymore with you, and we're gonna take her to the victim protection.
Victim protection.
Yeah, like, because this is now in international crime.
Wow.
So it's very serious.
So the man was a high profile somebody.
So I said, okay, 17 years old, no one to say anything to you. And the guy and the police said, it's not like this, you have to agree. His father comes. So I have his father in the room. I have the police who wants to put me in the prison. And I have this guy, I don't know who he is. I said, his father don't have any power. This police here, certainly he's going to put me in there. I'm going to with this person. I don't know who this person is, but I just asking who this voice is, and this guy comes. So I said, okay. I signed the paper. They removed me. The same night, less than 24 hours, I was put in the plane. And my life turned again. And that's when I start my journey with Christ.
Wow.
In my journey with Christ, I'm going to say how it started. When I arrived, they took me from Brazil to Italy. When they took me to Brazil to Italy, they both sold the body of him together. The body.
The body of the boy?
Of the boy.
With you.
In the same plane. When we arrived there, was already, I don't even remember going, I went down to the aeroplane, and was cars waiting for me. It was not even go with the other people. I was escorted by these people, and they took me and they put me in a house in Italy. And that's what started a really deep journey, because now I'm completely alone with completely blocked in my spiritual world. And then they said he needed to get his funeral. So they took me to the funeral with the family and everything. I was looking, and I said, I cannot bear this. It's too much for me. It's beyond. I didn't believe in anything. I didn't believe in afterlife. I didn't believe in nothing. For me, it was power me, that's it. That's what I believe. But my world collapsed. My spirituality, everything, my identity. I could not even live with myself, my own self, for the abominations I did in my conscience. Now I lost completely who I was. And I remember I arrived, and I said, I'm going to kill myself. And maybe I've said that, and then we see. And then I put all the compromises you can imagine. I arrived from the funeral, and I said I needed to relax in the room. I put like 300 compromises.
300 compromises.
I opened, bottles of any compromise I could have, like pills. Any pills I could have found in the bathroom. And I was in the house of someone from the family, so I was putting everything. I don't even know what was there. For the heart, for blood pressure, I don't know what was there. I put about 300 a full glass, and I have a Coca-Cola in my hand, and then I just put everything in the bottle, and then I drink everything in one go. I dissolve everything and I drink. Lay down in the bed, and I said, that's it. I'm going to go now. So I remember my body become very cold. And I start to really passing. Very beautiful, very peaceful. Like I was passing. And just the last thing I remember, I turned to my side and I said, let it go. This is the end. I cannot live with this. Because in the funeral, his dad looked at me and said, is your life worth of the life of my son? Because in the inquest, they say he went in front of me to try to save me from the bullets. So his dad in the funeral crying looked at me and said, is your life worth of the life of my son? So that was very heavy for 70 years old. And then I said, finish. And then I turned, my body went cold. Then suddenly I felt someone touch the bed or beside the bed in my back. Do you know when someone comes to the room? And I turn. I don't think I turned in my body. I think I was already gone. My spirit turned. But I don't know. I turned and I saw a feet on the level of my face.
A what?
A feet.
Feet at your face, yeah.
Yeah, like I was in the bed and I looked and I saw a feet. And these feet have a mantle, like covering, shaking. And I found so beautiful because it was so beautiful, the feet. It was perfect. But I realized the feet was not on the floor, it was in the level of the bed. So I look and I start to look up and it was this being. Such a perfect being. A perfect. Never saw anything like this. His garments was white, really white. And was life. I never saw life. I didn't know what life was. And was completely out of every experience I have in my life. And I look and I remember look up and this face was very familiar to me. Very familiar. I couldn't see this is like a familiar. I know this face, but I could not, was so perfect, but I could not figure out what it was. Suddenly I look in the eyes. When I look in the eyes, I was in the impression like I saw. I don't want to put a statement here because people can go in many directions here, and I don't want anyone to go in many directions because this was one experience God made with me. But the eyes was the eyes of the boy. Maybe it was the angel reflecting this, so I feel this was the message. I cannot say, but for me it was his eyes. And then he said to me, come. And then I remember I look and I was looking my body in the bed. But in the same time, my body was going with these beings. And before I go, I was a mirror in front of me. And when I look the mirror, I look for the first time in my life in my spirit in this mirror. And when I look in the spirit, in the mirror, I saw my spirit. And what I saw was horrible. I remember I turned my face, I could not look at myself. I was so distorted, I was so dark, I was so damaged, I was so broken. What I saw in this mirror, my spirit, was like something completely without form. And then when I saw this, I remember I continued And I saw a lot of lights coming, like a tunnel. Like, oh, the lights coming, like a tunnel. And these lights was pushing us. And then when I look, was I don't know how to express, but ancients of days. A man, his head was white.
Before you go further,
my God,
let me explain something to you. And I don't know how much time we have. I think they said we have like 5 minutes left.
That's why it's difficult for.
So we're gonna do a part 3. We have to do a part 3. I'm sorry, guys. We have to do a part 3 because we're getting to heaven stuff now. We'll do it another day. Next week we'll film part 3. But let me explain why this is profound. And I'm sure for most of us, just, do you remember my story? Okay, I'll tell you my story. In Northampton, I went through the worst period of my life in ministry. I gave up on everything. I mean, I was so damaged, heartbroken. I don't know, maybe some Luciferians have fragmented my soul, but I went through the worst. And what I will call Christian witchcraft. There were a council of pastors in Northampton who would put my name in the middle of a floor and curse me.
I know exactly what they say. We're gonna go there. We're gonna go there.
And I experienced so many demonic attacks with my eyes open. I would look at the roof of my my window. I had a moon window, and I'd look out at the moon at night, and I'd see this entity just go over my window and look at me, and then run like a frog-looking creature and disappear. I mean, just crazy things are happening. Somebody came who was a fake prophet to our church, frauded people of a lot of money, but God caught up with him. He repented in a police station, just broke down. But I had enough of the abuse. Leaders were being rebellious. They tried to replace me as the pastor. So one night I decided I'm going to kill myself. I get all the alcohol I can find in the shop. I mean, and I never drank before till that day. So I didn't know that there were levels of alcohol. So I got some weak stuff first and I'm drinking it. It didn't work. Then I saw there's numbers. So I started going for the high number stuff, spirits. Now I'm just downing these drinks. I'm still not drunk. So I made a 3rd trip to the shop. But the 3rd trip I realized I was drunk because I went into a trance. And I'm looking at this big, they have these big mirrors in corner shops. I'm just staring at it. Then I went, I smiled and I said, I'm drunk. But I still gathered more bottles. I'm carrying my bag of bottles home. And one of the members of my church sees me, says, are you okay, Rev? They go, Reverend, are you okay, Reverend? I sobered instantly. I just told myself, be sober. I said, oh yeah, I'm fine. He asked me some biblical questions. I answered all his questions. He still can tell something was wrong. And I staggered after. I was like, whew, okay. I get home. I put my favorite movie on TV because I'm going to kill myself. I want to watch something funny. So I drink and then I get some blade and I cut my wrists. Now I am bleeding out and I'm gone. Again, similar thing. I have this experience. My spirit comes out of my body and there are very tall beings all around me. I mean, everywhere. I was in this vast expanse of I don't know what, but there are tall beings everywhere. And they're speaking a language that I couldn't understand. But the more they spoke, I started to hear what they were saying. They said, you have an appointment with the Lord God, Jehovah. And I said, hey, I've killed myself. He's going to send me to hell. I'm finished. They carried me, one on this side, one on that side. But the state of my soul was so bad.
I saw that myself.
And blood and wounds and
I saw that on me.
Oh, I was filthy. But I was a soldier in this. But I was battered. They take me to this very pure, scary white altar. I mean, the white was terrifying. Just white, pure.
It's nothing like you can describe. This is similar. There is the real thing. He is not the real thing.
And do you know who I saw? I saw a man with hair white. Exactly. This is why I'm white.
That's good.
It was so white and but yet it terrified me.
Yeah,
but it gave me
that me
joy.
too.
And when he moved, the hair would almost strike you like lightning is hitting you. And
Yes.
I would almost be like, please don't turn, please don't, because the more he moved, the more something was just coming off of him. And I was sure I was dead. I don't know how you die in heaven, but it says I fell as if dead.
Yes.
I was gone. He puts his hand out like this. When he put his hand out, suddenly I was lifted up. The angels didn't need to hold me anymore. And he started to shout at me. He had a big staff in his hand. He's slamming the staff on the floor and he's yelling at me, just shouting. I thought, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. But his voice was forcing all of these wounds, and things were coming out of my body as he was speaking. And the scripture was coming to me in the experience. The voice of the Lord blast the cedars of Lebanon. The voice of the Lord makes the hind to skip. The voice of the Lord makes the mountains tremble. The voice of God was just blowing all these things on. I mean, it was just a tremendous encounter. I've never forgotten it till this day. Then he looked at me, he started crying. Just the love of God, just the pure love of God.
No, we have the no, I can't believe this. I can't believe it.
He went to a platform, he opens up the platform, and I saw the earth.
Oh, I can't believe it. No, stop it. Stop it.
I saw the whole world.
Okay.
He took his staff,
he
swirls the earth, and it became like green and blue, like you'd rinse a rag. And screaming started coming out the earth. He said, a time of great tribulation is coming. It's not your time. Go back. I'm back in my body with people around me. They try to rescue, trying to resuscitate me and bring me back. I'm sent to hospital. I'm pumped with an injection because my dad's a doctor to get rid of all the poison in my system. But please, sorry, we got 5 minutes, so please.
That's so powerful because it's different. It's the same thing. I'm gonna complete because as I see this being standing there with this white hair, white robe, and very big gold belt here on the chest, he spoke not with me. He spoke with this being who was with me, and he said, "It's time." And the being turned to me and said, have a peace because I know you're innocent. You don't have nothing to do what happened with him. Because in that moment, I killed myself because the heaviness of have someone kill for your life. How are you going to carry this in your life? And then he said, we know, don't have nothing to do with this. You know, and it was like a release, a forgiveness for me, extremely. And then he said, and then the Ancients of Days, he put like a basin like you, and he passed the basin in something, and a door opens, okay? Like a really huge door open when he doing this. And it's like a portal. He opened this door, and the first thing I look inside was this grass. This grass, and the grass was a green I never saw in this earth. It's nothing compared with what I saw there. And I look, and the grass was worship God.
It's alive.
It's alive. Yes. It's life. It's not.
Flowers are alive.
Nothing like there. And I was seeing these flowers alive. They have life. The plants here in this dimension is dead. You say it's life, it's not life.
That the most beautiful thing on earth.
It's undescribable. Yeah. It's undescribable. It's life put itself in everything. Everything worship God. The flowers worship God. The grass worship God. And my eyes was going up. This is very quick in this realm. My eyes was going up, and I was seeing this huge crystal seat. Like, oh my God, I remember now until now this crystal seat, and I saw people in white in the end, and I was seeing this city, this place full of gold.
Wow.
And everything and life. And then suddenly he said to me, and then this Ancients of Days said, it's time. And then he said, I needed to go, this being. And he passed inside to where the realm of the city. And he looked back and said, do you want to come? And everything in me wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Nothing in this earth, nothing I was proposed in my life, nothing awful. I went to deep stuff of the world, deep experiences, all the pleasures, all the things, everything. Nothing could compare, don't even come near what was the proposal of this place.
Mm.
But when I think I put myself to work, suddenly a wave comes from inside of this place. And this wave was full of love. It was like a wave of the sea, but was so much love.
Wow.
I never experienced love in my life.
Oh.
And the wave of love passed to me. And I have so much hatred inside of me. Then when the wave passed inside of my body, I stand hard. I said, I'm not going to fall. But the second wave of love was coming from this place and passed again on me. And in the third one, put me on my knees. I could not stand. And this was such a love. People don't understand when I say, when I talk about nothing.
We have 10 seconds. I'm so sorry, right?
Nothing. Nothing can compare. You leave children, you leave family, you leave riches, you leave everything for this love.
Yes.
I never want to come back again.
Yes.
And I'm still today, I don't want to be here. I want to go back to this love. 10 seconds.
I'm so sorry.
Because it's not yet finished.
Our time is up. We will
Not
have to do part 3. It will be the final part.
We try, but it's
no,
so much things are going to come.
There's a lot to explain.
The experiences I have, people are going to hear, is such a surreal experience.
Yes. Do we have time for a prayer or done? Prayer? Okay. Can you pray in this camera for 15 seconds for people to experience
what
this
I
love?
Just want to say to you is,
1 second. If you can lean back.
Just receive love. Just receive this love. If you never felt this love, if you feel unloved, if you feel people don't understand you, if you feel like something of a big part of you is missing, I'm telling you, I saw this love and I felt this love with my own eyes. And it's nothing can compare this. And I'm telling you, I was a Luciferian. Every part of me was evil. I never believed in God. And even that, he showed me his love. Was the first thing he did to me was to show me this love. And you can experiment this love now. You can experiment this love. This love is real. I give my life to have this love in my life forever. And you can have this love. You're never going to be able to compare. So I pray for you. I'm start to pray now. All the fragmentations of your spirit, all the fragmentations of your soul, I have the authority to claim now over your life if you're watching this now. And I'm telling you, you're going to start to immerse in this love. Because that's why we are here, to present this love. To present this love. And that's what we're going to talk the next time.
Amen.